and welcome to Diaspora Gists. We're doing it in a different way now because, like you all can see or tell, we're in the lockdown phase. So everyone is locked down at home, and so we're doing it via video conferencing. My name is Oyinkan and my brother is on the other side of the continent.
Yeah, this is Dr. Ayo and welcome to Diaspora Gists. This is really strange.
I know, right?
I know. I was very reluctant to do this initially, but this is the new era, so
you gotta move it. You gotta flow. You know, you can't allow something stop you. I mean, you have to make it work out whichever way, and so that's what we're doing here, making it work out and talking about what is keeping us all indoors. COVID-19.
I mean, how's Atlanta? Talk to me.
I don't know. I've not seen beyond the four walls of my house and my neighborhood. It's amazing. I hated grocery shopping, but now that's it. I'm like, ooh, I'm going grocery shopping today. I'll see other people. I'll see other things.
The funny thing about it, my own problem is I don't even know what day today is. Every day just seems to be the same day to me. I go to bed, I wake up. I'm not sure whether I'm not sure. I think today's Thursday.
Friday.
Oh, it's Friday.
Just look down your computer. You see, no. Okay.
No, I stopped doing that ages ago. Right. I actually, funny enough, I began to look at this as like I was saying to a few friends, as a glass half full rather than glass half empty. I just started to look at it and started to see the benefits of a global lockdown. I think if it was just a lockdown here, it would have been a problem. But hey, I remember that I was due to fly out to come to Atlanta.
Yep.
And all with all the plans we had.
Yes.
And I think it was on a Wednesday I was due to fly out, and everywhere was shut by Thursday. So, and that's but hey, we are where we are.
Okay. So, just talking about how you've been coping. Tell me, do you have a baseball cap on because your hair is growing? And
oh yes, absolutely. I haven't. I used to cut my hair every.
It actually has hair. Did you dye it? You're older than you look. I'm not going to share my secrets, but
I've never dyed my hair. I think I'm pretty just lucky. I'm very lucky. I have to say that God has blessed me with still everything intact, so that's good. It's just I haven't gotten, and
you're so lucky. You're so lucky. Like, it's a lot of work trying to make my hair cooperate with me because I hardly do my hair myself. I need someone to help me look great, when it comes to the hair thing. But I think I look good. I look pretty good. I'm
looking okay.
I look good. I look great.
I know you're a confidence. I know you're a confidence coach. that doesn't right now, but you do look great. I mean,
I know.
Right now we look
same genes flow in the blood.
We look as best as we can, but but if you think about it, it's really a sad situation, though. I mean, yes, we thank God that we are alive, and
no one is hospitalized. At least
no one
from our family.
From our family, some close friends. I mean, we had someone that passed away who was to go to, was a church member. Their church we used to go to, and we had underlying conditions, but he's been in and out of hospital. But I know he's the guy, but he passed away, and that was a little sad. But apart from that,
we've actually had a friend whose parents, and one of them especially isn't doing that great, so we're still praying for that family.
So we have to pray for everybody.
This is if it hasn't affected you personally, you need to be grateful, and we still need to pray for people, those that are in front line. We need to pray for people that have sick loved ones. Because I've lost loved ones. And then also I always say, reach out to people, call them, it's social distancing, it's not isolation. So call someone you haven't spoken to in a long time and see how they're doing. Because there are a few people that are living alone, and it's bad. If we have our family around,
I mean, you have people you're talking to right now, and it's very hard. And even with that, it's still difficult.
It is.
But but I know today we wanted to talk about how it has affected many more Black people.
No, but before we talk about that, and I was thinking of something, should we talk about how we can cope? Or should we go to the? Should we go?
I think
plan topic.
Let's talk about the plan topic, but okay. I think in terms of coping, the most important thing is reaching out to people. I mean that, and just talking, and there's nothing else. And by the way, you have to do some exercises.
That is exactly what I was about to get into.
That I've been doing very well. I'm very good with that. I've always done exercises, but now, I mean, I find I'm running a lot more than I used to. I'm doing, about 2.5 to 3K 5 times a week. I'm doing planks. I'm doing weights, but it's kept me going. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I thought about that.
And you don't have to do it as much as that. You just have to be, just walk. Just go out, walk. There are dance videos. There are all sorts of things that you can do. So, hey, that's the most important thing. Keep fit and reach out to people. I think those two things.
Yeah, and watch what you buy, because if you don't buy some things, you won't eat them. It's so easy.
I really to pick and go. That I can't help with that. That I can't help.
But if you don't buy it, you won't eat it. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy anything at all, but be smart about what you buy. Mix healthy foods, occasional treats. Don't fill your house with just treats, because you're going to eat them. There's nothing else to do.
I can tell you, like with a couple of my other friends, I think we're having one too many bottles of wine.
So really, and I think if you limit what you buy for grocery shopping, you only drink what you have or eat
and
what
that's
you
correct.
have.
And that's been the tactic now. Yes, so you're
limit,
absolutely right.
Watch out what you buy so you don't have to consume it. If it's not there, you won't eat it. You get disciplined. You watch what you buy, and then that way you don't eat what you don't have, and you don't drink what you don't have. That's true. But going back to the topic. It's incredible that more Black people are disproportionately more affected. I mean, I heard about that in the States, but it's happened that even here in the UK, it's more Black and ethnic minorities are disproportionately more affected. And funny thing is, I thought it was about just Black people, but I realized that is it because I think it's just because we are at the front line of everything, including poverty. Yes.
Front line of services, front line of poverty, the system, again, we're the front line, we're the back end of the front line, if that makes any sense.
Yes. And one thing that I thought about, the African community or people of African descent tend to congregate within the same places. So we tend to be also in close community. So right here, for example, you see in America, in a lot of cities, you see more African Americans in cities, even if they're not doing well, if they're poor or they're not financially, in the middle class, you will still see them in the city. Now, a poor middle class Caucasian white person may not be living in the city. They may probably be living in less populated areas, so it's not as crowded. So there is a natural social distancing component by the virtue of
I see what you're saying.
They live. So they live in rural areas, where where they don't congregate together as often and as frequently.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So by virtue of just where we live and probably our social life, we're not really socially distant from each.
We're not really socially distant. That's one of the reasons I see. So you hardly see, I mean, when you go into the rural areas, you hardly see Black people in rural areas, apart from maybe, but generally, that's my perception. I may be wrong.
But I don't think that can be the only reason why. I genuinely think that the reason why it's affecting us disproportionately is purely socioeconomic factors.
Okay, so since I knew we're going to talk about that, I decided to look into some statistics in what is happening here in America. And it says that African Americans account for 42% of the death. Sad.
That's sad.
And they said 3 main reasons why: the kind of jobs we have.
Yes.
And usually the job sometimes is the lowest cater.
Yeah.
Or the kind of jobs we have does not afford the opportunity to telecommute.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. The other thing too is the underlying conditions. So you have a lot of African Americans, or having like the underlying conditions, diabetes and some other chronic conditions, which in COVID-19 is a factor for getting the worst, form of it, the worst end of the COVID-19 complications. I had someone telling me complications. I was looking for the word. So because African Americans tend to have underlying conditions, that COVID-19 just seems to affect them more because of those underlying conditions.
Yes, I think
and the third thing too, and they said here, is because a lot of African Americans don't have access to medical care or are distrustful of the system. That's just the stat. It's not
that's a huge one. So we can take each one of them by itself and just look at it. I mean, I'd look at the figures here in the UK. It says 35% of almost 2,000 patients in intensive care units are Black or from other ethnic minority, despite the fact that we make 14% of the population. Now that is 35% of the 2,000. This is today's 16th of April, yesterday's data. And,
wow!
And it's incredible that of the medical personnel that have died from the NHS staff, 68% of them are Black and ethnic minorities. Now, it's again, they are looking at it, but it seems pretty obvious that we don't really have to do that much. That I don't know. They always talk about investigations and all that stuff, but it just seems pretty obvious to me that it's the same thing that is happening in Atlanta or in the States, and it's a microscopic picture of what will happen in Africa as a whole. Mm-hmm. Now, so if you take the first thing that you have said, one, all the jobs that are forward face.
Front line and the front line and face people facing are run majorly by ethnic minorities and Black people. So trains, buses, checkouts, But we also have the higher level jobs to physicians. We have a lot of physicians.
Exactly. And even in the healthcare system, healthcare system, so they're the ones. They're the ones that are in the front line. Whether it's the very low skill or the high skill, it's front line. So by virtue of that, unfortunately, it just happens. And I don't think anything we can do anything about that. It just happens to be the kind of disease profile that we're talking about.
But is it also because of the underlying conditions as well that is not properly managed sometimes?
That's a factor. You cannot take an isolation in isolation. I agree that that's part of it. But I also believe that there's a particular factor which they are now looking at, which we do not know whether it's a huge factor, but it has to do with the viral load. So if you're front facing with any person and you probably get more of the virus. Yeah.
The concentration of the virus.
The concentration is higher.
Yes.
The concentration is higher. So that is by itself. But as well as the fact that we have, for example, Black people genetically are more predisposed to hypertensive diseases.
But the problem, I don't think, is having those diseases, but it's how controlled they are.
It's hard to say because we are not going to know until this whole saga is over and they have done their investigations. But if you look at it, there are lots of, and I agree with you. I think we are, as a people, whether it's frontline or
backline or middle line
or whatever. Yes, we are not very. We do not do well with how we control our illnesses, especially chronic illnesses. I mean, I'll give you an example. I'm going to take myself as an example. Right?
Okay.
I'm asthmatic.
Okay.
I've known, and I'm a doctor. I know
he was a doctor. Okay, still a doctor.
I'm still a doctor. I'm still,
he just doesn't practice.
I don't. So, that's what it is. But I should know that when I was diagnosed, even before, as from school, you're taught that you must to have better peak flow, to have better peak flow, to be able to breathe better, you must be able to use your steroids inhalers twice a day for a long period of time, because that reduces the inflammation in the lungs. And so,
okay.
But then that's the brown one. And then the blue one you use only when you.
So you have the there's a word they call it. I wish the
preventive.
Yeah.
The preventive.
Yeah. Or is it the maintenance they call it? I don't know if it's different.
Preventive and the maintenance.
Yes.
Yes, maintenance. And then you have the.
So you have some medications you have to use just to keep your level at the appropriate.
Yes. Now, not until this particular COVID-19
that you took it seriously.
I take it seriously. So for the last 2.5 or 3 months, I have been using my steroid inhalers religiously. And of course, I feel better for it, even though I used to run. Now, I don't know if this would be the situation with non-whites, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of them they use it as they should be used. And I didn't use it. I just took my health for granted. Now, things like I'm very well controlled with my hypertension. I'm probably one of the best. Thank God for that. I'm very well. I've always been well controlled with my hypertension. I use very little medication.
So right.
So it goes back to the fact that we do
take our health for granted.
We take our health for granted, but the system doesn't help as well.
So, but I'll say this though, and I don't know whether it's because of the kinds of jobs that it is so tasking that maybe you have to do, like in America, for example, they work really hard. Some work 2, 3 jobs. So you have to sacrifice something to take care of your health. And that may be hard for some, but I'll say this. Sometimes because we start to, invest in our health and just exercise more, watch what we eat. But guess what? When I go to the park, I hardly see black folks there. I'll lie to you.
Yeah, they don't. And it's true.
I don't blame them. Or let me confess my sins. When I was younger, I used to think like hiking. What am I hiking for? Hiking there? What nonsense? And I don't know whether it's as a result of the way we were brought up that we didn't realize the value
of health.
Oh,
yes.
Is it because our parents had to work so hard that there was no time to impact that by the time they come home, they're just tired and I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Maybe we're not just aware of the value of, because growing up,
a lot of black people do take their health for granted. I mean, when I think about it, now people say thankfully that, you look good, you look younger.
Okay.
But honestly, 5-6 years ago, it wasn't like that. I mean, I remember that, I would wear a shirt and I would have I'm so embarrassed because my whole belly was out and stuff like that. Then I had one of my closest friends, who we were together in Nigeria, and he was always running. He was, we'll be together. I'll be asleep.
But he had something that made him run. He had motivation.
And I'll tell you that, yes. And the motivation was because his father died when we were younger. His father died of a heart attack at the age of 50. And he started, and when he was in Chicago, when he moved to the States, because he was in the States for years before he came back to Nigeria, he had started to run. He swore to himself. He told me that he swore to himself that what happened to his father wouldn't happen
to him. So are you saying that with more information, maybe there'll be a different outcome? Is it that we lack the information, or we lack? I think we lack.
No, I don't think in today's day there's the lack of information.
Look, in America, this is one thing I know. Especially people on the lower cater of jobs don't have the time. If you're working 2-3 jobs, it's so hard to see again. You
make time. You see, you say that.
You make time.
You do. You see, you only need, honestly, you only need 15-20 minutes.
Listen.
To be able to, and there are various ways in which you make time.
Yeah, so talking like this. For example, I don't know for the UK people what is hard in America.
When you are going to work.
Yeah.
When you are going to work, always don't try not to use your car. Use your car.
In which place?
If you're going to drive in America, if you're going to drive, when you're going to drive in America, you put it down, and then during the day you walk around a lot. I know people. Look, I live in Atlanta. Do you know how crazy traffic is in Atlanta? I say it. I come to Atlanta all the time. I'm there all the time.
Yes.
So I say it. But what I'm saying is that,
and that's if you have one job. If you have 2 jobs, it is hard. If there is no work-life balance, it is hard. Let us face it. You cannot say,
look, there are people, you say it's hard, but there are people that go to the gym.
They cannot afford to go to the gym. That's why they're working 2-3 jobs. What are you talking about? If your finances are so bad, you're not thinking of gym. And unfortunately, fast food is cheaper than good food.
I was just going to say that.
So you would eat and let me tell you, you're so tired sometimes that, I mean, you've been in traffic. You thought the traffic would be for 1 hour, then you're in traffic for 1.5 hours. And then you see like one of the fast food restaurants.
Poverty is definitely. I mean, in a place like America, they need to search their conscience and need to see and need to look at it and I hope that people are able to look at it and the leaders are able to look at it and say, look, is this right for these people?
They know it's
at the end
not
of the
right.
day, you're right. At the end of the day, you're right. I mean, whenever I come, we are fortunate, right? We are fortunate that we can afford the good food, because when I think about it, you go into Whole Foods, Whole Foods and you want to buy stuff and you know it's good for you, and the best stuff is always more expensive.
Of course,
that cannot be right. I mean, in any society,
should we go back to like household farming, like have a little garden behind your house?
That could be a solution.
It would not do anything,
but it won't work.
See, it won't work because of people like him. He will forget that he planted anything.
That would die. In fact,
they would die. The plant would die before even started living.
Absolutely. But I honestly think that that food that is natural should. I don't understand why any society will not let people have access to food that will make them live longer. I've always thought about it. I've always thought about it.
I don't think things started this way. Unfortunately, with automation, with a lot of changes in how we produce things, a lot of people have lost good jobs that otherwise all they'll have did is one good job. So those jobs aren't there anymore. So I think with the changes in the economy, in the way things are produced, in the labor market, it has put a lot of strain on how things used to be. Because from my research, I used to hear that, all you need to do is when you leave college, you get into a good company or business or organization, and you're good to go. You rise up, you rise with ranks, you had good healthcare, you had good pension, but things aren't then because a lot of those kinds of jobs aren't just available. Anyway, don't let's take too long on this stuff because we have so many things we want to talk about, but it is unfortunate that the largest percentage of people that suffer from COVID-19 is African Americans, and that's because of the underlying conditions. And so
that's number one, and number two. That is true, and that is true. And the second thing about it is that we have to talk. No, not even the second thing. Another thing is, why do Black people believe that certain things will not happen to them?
That is the topic for the next one. So you guys have to hold on as we talk about this. Click on our link, subscribe to a YouTube channel. We're going to talk about why Africans or African Americans, because a lot of them believe that they won't suffer from the COVID-19 virus going about. So that's something we're going to talk about. So please hang in and subscribe, and we'll talk about that in our next video. How about we do that?
Yes. Next video.
All right, then. We'll see you soon. Okay. Bye-bye.